Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm excited to welcome all of you here on our fantastic brand new live training on how to do Instagram collaborations. I hope all of you can hear me well. So if you have any issues with sound, please let me know in the chat. So my name is Anne and I'm a marketing manager for Combin Team and I will be moderating today's webinar and today's chat. Today, I'm happy to be accompanied by CEO of Global Social Media Marketing, our guest speaker today, Benjamin Kepner. Hello, Benjamin. Thank you for coming.
Hey, Anna, thanks for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
Okay, so guys, please give us a huge welcome in the chat. Say hi, tell us where you're from, how long are you on Instagram, or just send us a smiley and show us that you are ready to learn. And believe me, you will learn a lot today. So let me just in short tell you a few housekeeping issues so you can actually be prepared for everything that is going to happen today. You can ask any questions concerning the presentation, Instagram marketing, etc., and you can post them either to the chat area or to the Q&A tab. And I will move all of the questions you asked from the chat to the Q&A anyway, so don't think that we just deleted your question or we missed it, so just have a look at the Q&A. At the end of the webinar, we're having a small Q&A session with Benjamin, and Benjamin is going to answer 5-7 questions from you, so it would be cool if you just upvoted the questions in the Q&A tab, so if you want them to be answered. And one more thing, the webinar is going to be recorded, and so actually you can watch it one more time, and I will send you the recording tomorrow via email, okay? So now just let me have a look at the chat and see who is here. Hi there, good evening from LA. Hello, LA. Hi, everyone. Hello. Hey from London. Hey, London. Hi, everyone. Hi. Oh, so many people there. Hi from Burma. Oh, where is this? Hi from Argentina. All Argentina. Hi, France. Hello. Hi. Go follow me on Instagram. Guys, we have a nice tradition on Combin webinars. So if you want just to find new people for inspiration, or if you want to find new followers, go send your Instagram name to the chat, and please, let's follow each other. Let's build a huge Combin community. This is Chris, and here in New York City. Hello, Chris. Hi from the Netherlands. Hello, Netherlands. Hello, guys. I'm from Canada. Hope to learn a lot today. Hello, Canada. Absolutely. You are in the right place. Good evening from London. Hello, London. Hello, LA. Hello, India. Hello, Nashville. Hello, nice to be here tonight learning something new. Absolutely. Hola, will this webinar be recorded? Thanks. Yes, this webinar is gonna be recorded and I'm gonna send you the recording tomorrow. Hey there, guys. Hello, Matt. Hello from Ukraine. Hello, Ukraine. I'm from Kerala, India. Hello, India. Hi from Las Vegas. Hello from Denver, Colorado. Hey, Anna and Benjamin. Hello, Frank. Hey from Australia. Hi from London. Hi from Salvador. Hello from Costa Rica. So many people here. I'm excited, and I hope, Benjamin, you're excited too to meet all of these people who came here to learn something new from you.
Yeah, it's awesome to see all these people from all over the world that are here today.
Yeah, thank you. So once again, hi, hello, hola, good evening, good afternoon, good morning. And once again, you can ask any questions you wish concerning the presentation or just Instagram marketing. So ask any question you want us to answer. And this webinar will be recorded. So now I give the floor to Benjamin. So Benjamin, you are welcome.
Awesome, great. Well, thank you for the warm introduction, and hello to everyone across the world. It's definitely very inspirational to get to present this presentation today on Instagram collaborations for Combine. They have been a great new software for us as a company, and we've been using their tool. I was just talking with Anna. So anyone that's attending the webinar, if you haven't been using Combine, definitely check them out. I think they're a great solution. So for today's webinar, we are going to be talking about how to do Instagram collaborations. And this is something in 2020 that I feel personally has really evolved as a great way to grow your Instagram through an authentic, genuine way and to really build your relationships with the Instagram platform outside of just the content that you are creating potentially for your customers or your fans. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and put this into a full slide so I can see it, and I'll look at your chats at the end. And I'm going to start the presentation just to let you guys know we are going to offer a free Instagram collaboration today. That's right. Free is for me. So be sure to stick around for the entire presentation today. I will be giving away a free collaboration opportunity for global social media marketing. You can see our logo right there. And I'm the CEO and founder of that company. We're a marketing and education technology training company headquartered in Denver, Colorado. So shout out to my other Coloradans I see in the call. If you're in the neighborhood, reach out. And we'll also be giving away a free Instagram collaboration with me. So you'll have an opportunity with our company and with me as a micro influencer. So anyone that's looking to reach new audiences, maybe you want to look into our analytics a little bit and see what we've been doing on social media, definitely check us out. And we're going to get into that for doing collaborations. So to start with the presentation, I thought that we would start with defining what an Instagram collaboration is. Simply, an Instagram collaboration is a win-win strategic exchange of value where two or more brands or influencers could team up with one another on Instagram for promotion to increase their audience, reach, or awareness. Now, obviously, we could also do other things such as sales, leads, those things that a lot of business owners probably care about, but innately, that's really where collaboration starts, is with digging into other people's audiences and providing value to that audience with whatever your piece of content or value offer might be to that new audience. Collaborations can be things such as sponsored social media content, right? Instagram ads, gifting, like giving gift cards away. We know that's been really popular this year in 2020. Brand ambassador programs. Many brands today are now recruiting people to promote their products as a brand ambassador in exchange for discounts on their products or affiliate marketing or sales. Making videos. Actually, funny enough, I'll be showing a video that we did with Combine on our Instagram as a collab example. And then making an appearance in each other's photos, right? Having that product placement, just as we saw way back when, right? When E.T. had Reese's Pieces as candy in the movie. If we got any E.T. fans out there, right? That's an example of a product placement making an appearance in the photo or video. So what are the trends for Instagram collaborations now that we know what an Instagram collaboration is? Well, we're seeing a lot of new things happen with kind of exclusive events, right? We've seen in 2020 that a lot of people are moving for obvious reasons to online events for safety. Also, we've seen with content collaboration, right, that people are looking to do collabs with other people that have relevant audiences. So as an example, combining global social media marketing is a good collaboration opportunity because we're both in the social media industry. Therefore, it's a good opportunity for us to do a collab and help one another's audiences. Takeovers is a new thing that I've seen really just within the last year and a half, but more so in 2020, where you're actually giving your Instagram to somebody else. They're taking it over for the day and getting to put out their message, expanding, creating content. This is a really good idea to offer to another brand that maybe is a new business or just getting started, or they want a new audience and they're creating content for you. So it's really a win-win from that perspective because now you're kind of curating or outsourcing some of your content creation so that you don't have to do everything on your own personal Instagram accounts. Competitions and giveaways, those have been around for a while, nothing new there, but things such as hashtag challenges, they're really good to increase engagements too. If you're going to give something away that's super valuable. And we found too that it's really good for building fan bases. Actually, a lot of people spend a lot of time probably using organic growth tools and doing ads, and you should do those things. But another way that you can grow fan bases very quickly is also using giveaways and having something that people actually want to follow you because you have something that they want. And then so kind of looking at the different types of products, services, we know that collaborations can be very cheap. Sometimes they can be free, sometimes they're not. It just depends on who you're doing the collaboration with. They can create new revenue streams, right? So maybe if your company, for example, like for us, if we're selling Instagram services and we want to offer combine, we do offer that now. We offer a discount code. They've provided us with one, right? So people can use their product now if they're working with us. And that's just engaging our audience more, providing more value, adding another service to us. And then now we're getting this collaboration opportunities with all of the people that are already following combined, right? So those are some of the trends that we're seeing for Instagram. Obviously, Instagram is very international. I just thought I'd show this. I'm based in the United States. Our company is headquartered in Denver, Colorado, but you can actually see outside of the United States, right, that there is tons of other people that are participating. We had people in today's call from all over the world. So I really do feel like, Instagram is a truly international place. And just looking at some of the major countries, it's really kind of now becoming one of the premier social media networks, and over 500 million users. So it's not a question if you need to be on Instagram anymore at this point. I think it's the same as if you wanted to ask if you need to be on Facebook. It's where people are spending their time, and especially the younger audience. So how do we do Instagram collaborations? Now that we've had that kind of background information, this diagram, I would recommend, if you're watching the webinar, take a screenshot of this or write this down into 5 simple steps. I like to, when I give a webinar, I like to give something that people can walk away with and feel like Benjamin gave me something I can implement tomorrow in an easy way, step format to execute that process. So this is the process: finding someone to work with, reaching out to them, structuring a collaboration deal, executing the collaboration campaign, and then measuring the results and the ROI of those efforts. So very simply, that's how we do an Instagram collaboration. And all of these slides that follow after now are going to be into detail of each of these different buckets. So how do we find somebody to work with for an Instagram collaboration? Well, questions that we need to ask, right, is, does this brand have a similar Instagram feed or style or aesthetic to mine, right? I'm going to go look at the other brand on Instagram and see, do they have the same values? Maybe are they selling to the same audience? Do they offer similar products or services? And then the next thing I might be looking at is saying, okay, how engaged are they? Are they posting regularly every week? Are they growing their fan base? Do they have a similar following as I do, right? We know that sometimes it can be really hard to get Instagram collaboration opportunities with really big brands that are over 10,000 to 20,000, right? That's when it starts to get a little bit harder, but maybe those people that have followings less than 10,000 are going to be a little bit easier to do collabs. So that's a huge thing, looking at that. Are they getting engaged too, right? We want to see, are they actually this following? As we know with Instagram, a lot of people, there's a lot of bots out there now, and different softwares where we can do engagement. But even if people are using softwares, we don't want to go to an Instagram page, right, that has 10,000 followers but has no engagement. We want to make sure that they have a good combination of those two. And then finally, we want to look to see if they are in direct competition, right? So sometimes it may not make sense. Let's say, for example, if we're Coca-Cola, we may not want to do an Instagram collaboration with Pepsi because we're selling the same product in the same industry, right? So that's how we kind of want to go about, at a basic level, how to find someone to work with. So for today's webinar, I've actually taken a screenshot of my Instagram, so definitely feel free to check it out. And that's going to be something that we're offering right at the end of the presentation, is to do a collab with me. And you can kind of see how my profile is constructed, right? You've got my bio there, and I've got a link to our YouTube channel. I kind of give you some different brands that I'm associating myself with, maybe some of my interests, right? You can see that picture of me shredding in Colorado there for all of my snowboarders out there. And then obviously I've got my different stories, right? So maybe I'm looking at that. If I'm thinking about a collaboration, okay, what do their stories look like? What brands is he associated with? I might look at the picture. Funny enough, that picture, I don't know if there's any Rolling Stones fans out there, but that's my mother's favorite band. So Rolling Stones, maybe you might have got that, right, with the tongue logo. And then actually that's me in a yoga class. So, there's some different things that you could garner from this, right? If I was looking to do an Instagram collaboration potentially with a CEO or with a social media company, I may fit that profile very well. I may also just be someone where you're saying, oh, okay, Benjamin's based in Colorado. I want to work with a United States kind of micro influencer, right? You kind of look at my follower count, just shy of 10,000. That's right at that mark where you're saying, okay, he's got a pretty large audience, but maybe I can try to do a free collab, or maybe I can try to do a, cheaper collab where I'm not going to be spending hundreds of thousands of dollars or something like that. So I think that's kind of the process you or I would go through if I was looking at this. Obviously, you guys are going to have your different interpretations, but it's like looking at the bio, the interest, looking at the follower account. I showed you a couple posts, right? These have very high engagement, those 2 example posts, and it really kind of gives you a feel or a personality of my profile, and seeing, does this micro influencer potentially fit within a good collaboration opportunity. So that's kind of the process I would go, as I'm looking at people's profiles, right? Looking at the post, looking at the design, looking at the bio, and looking at the type of content. We might also ask the influencer, right? This is something you see a lot in the public relations space, or, I've had a number of different influencer marketplaces reach out to me personally, and they're always asking, Benjamin, I want to know what your audience is, right? So an easy way to do that is to just go on to Instagram. And I think it would make sense to probably have Instagram open for the presentation. But to just go into that Instagram profile and go look in their followers, right? So if I'm on Benjamin, I might want to click onto Benjamin and go click onto his followers and go look at some of these, right? So like apartments, maybe if I'm a real estate person or somebody in Panama or something like that, right? So very quickly I can go click in to that person's profile and get a generic idea. But also what I want to do is I want to maybe ask that person to see if they have something like this that is more, they've broken it down, right? So if they've broken it down, this is great because it's going to give me a way to look at the gender, the age range, right? If I'm trying to be in the United States, something like that, right? So these are all factors that really help with deciding, does this person have the right audience, right? And looking at that from like an influencer perspective, right? So talking about influencers, right? We want to be able to do types of collaboration opportunities with influencers that we know, okay, their engagement rate's good, their followers, we're going to start pricing it out, right? Micro and macro, what's the difference between those two? Leave a comment in the webinar. If you know what those are, give us a great definition. I think a lot of people have different interpretations of it. I like to kind of go by followers to start, right? Like if you're over 10,000 followers, I'm considering you a macro because it takes a long time to get 10,000 followers. You've got, you're maybe going to be reaching in the hundreds at that point for every post. And, you've taken the time to build your audience. It's very rarely you're going to just start an Instagram account and get 10,000 people. So this is kind of a screenshot that I have of how you would maybe want to think about like a ballpark rate as you kind of expand, and then maybe those people that are under 10,000, as I mentioned, maybe those people you can maybe do a trade of services or offer a discount on your product, or something like this that I'm doing with Combine, right? Like to do a webinar that is potentially going to both help grow our businesses. So I think you want to look at it that way, understanding your pricing. There's actually a free Instagram money calculator that I've linked in here. So, when Anna sends this presentation out, check that out. That's exactly what this screenshot is here on the left. It's just kind of showing like, hey, what are they ranking me for cost per post, right? So, you can kind of see based on my profile, you might actually pay up to $77 if you want to get in my feed, take over my Instagram account, do a collab opportunity. So, the cool thing about this webinar, right, is I'm adding value for you guys and saying, hey, this is what my price might normally be. But if you're watching this video, this webinar today, I'm giving you a free collab opportunity with us. And that has value because I have an audience that's engaged, and that audience might be relative to your brand. So what are the different types of collab pitches that we might want to pitch to people, right? That's another question. There's so many things we can do with collabs, right? In today's example with Combine, we're doing a webinar. So, use that. I'm seeing huge trends in webinar these years, but there's so many things we can do: product promotions, tours, selling your products, signing up for free quotes, doing interviews, promoting a book or an ebook, or how to, product demonstration videos. I mean, there are so many things. So I kind of just put out what I could rattle off through my head here. And then I'm going to kind of go through here at the end and show you real life examples. So here's maybe another good, way to think about some different reach outs. Take a screenshot of this. Live streams are super popular. We're live streaming this webinar right now, right? And influencers, again, are those people that are influential, right? Those macro, those micro influencers, they have 5 to 10,000 at least, and maybe they've got content and a relevant audience where they're engaged, right? Those are good opportunities. Influencers are going to be better collab opportunities, but that doesn't mean you can't also do smaller Instagram accounts if you're just getting started. We'll talk about that here in a second. So I wanted to bring it back actually to the beginning of 2020. It was like the second week of January. And I had been building my Instagram. This is before I had met Combine, and I was using some different tools to help myself grow the Instagram account organically, build my following. I was getting more into content. I was really realizing at the end of last year, the beginning of last year, in early 2019, that Instagram was going to take off. I just knew that everybody, younger, I'm 32, anyone younger than me is going to be there. I even started to see, older people to start to gravitate toward it. And obviously Facebook owns Instagram. So we know that they're not going away. And, a lot of people are actually spending more time now, I think, on their Instagram accounts on their mobile phones than they might be spending on Facebook. And so I was just, one day it was putting up some post or whatever, and I checked my direct messages, and I actually had this message right here on the right. It says, please come in and check out Foraged and have a drink on us. And this was sent directly from a restaurant in my neighborhood of Denver, Colorado. I was living in the Lodo area, in the Dairy Block area. And they reached out to me and they said, we'd like you to come in and have a drink. And I just was kind of like, this is awesome, right? I mean, if you're a restaurant owner, think about this. If you went out and you searched for, in this example, Denver, Colorado, influencers or Denver influencer or whatever you wanted to search in what was specific to your audience of your geographic location, go find some local influencers to start. That's a great way if you're a restaurant owner. Just search in your given city, go find people that have a 5 to 10K following, give them one free appetizer, give them one free drink. You can suffer, if you think about that, right? $3 to $10 after I just showed you in the last slide that it's going to cost $77 for me if you were going to go on this model, right? So that's an example of a good exchange using something that, he's saying, I'll give you a free drink. I actually came in there. He surprised me and delighted me. That was another great marketing tactic. What ended up happening is he gave me a free Manhattan drink. And then he took me up to his personal, head chef, where you can see it's tagged Chef Von Pham. And he made me these customized sushi meals. It was amazing. I actually linked into it here, and I did a post where you can kind of scroll through this and see the different types of sushi art. And this was a great collab for him because now he's reaching all these people that are connected to me. I live in Denver. They're following me. And you could see I tagged some of the different people, right? The Dairy Block was like the neighborhood community. I tagged the chef. I tagged the restaurant. I even tagged the articles that they were talking about. And this is one of my first Instagram collabs ever where I was actually getting a trade, or not a monetary exchange, but getting a free meal. And it was an amazing meal. Shout out to Forge, the restaurant owner, of doing that. It was a really smart idea. And I would recommend this for anybody that's in the restaurant space. This is a great idea. What happens is you're going to go back, right? If you have a great experience and a free drink, you put up a post, you're going to go back. Or think about all of my friends that now saw this and they're saying, oh, Benjamin just went to this amazing sushi restaurant. I want to go check that place out. I thought that was a really cool story to just kind of transition into, what are the reasons that a person might turn down an Instagram offer, right? Maybe it's a bad product fit. Maybe it's being too demanding, right? That Instagram collab there was very easy. He was like, come in, have a drink. I'll even give you a meal if you just take a couple of pictures on your phone and you write a review about the restaurant, right? That wasn't hard. That literally probably took me 5 to 10 minutes. I had an enjoyable experience. Some of the other things, right? Maybe the values don't match up. Maybe it's unprofessional. Maybe you have to get the content approved, right? We see that with, bigger brands, right? They're not going to just allow you to collab with them and post something without them approving it if they're a huge corporation. Financial compensation, right? You can actually see that's one of the top things right there. So, I showed you those stats that, again, I'm going to keep, I guess, going back to it to show you the prices, right? You could be spending over $5,000 a month for one post. That's a lot of money. People don't maybe have that if they're just getting started out or they're smaller business. So think about, what can I trade? Do I have a product? Do I have a service? Do I have a discount? Can I provide growth to their company another way, right? And there's all of these different reasons why people might not do that. But the way I would go about it is, there's always, everything in life is negotiable, a CEO once told me. And I wouldn't say that's true for everything, but I would say that's pretty true with Instagram collaborations. I think you can negotiate different things. If you look at this stat over here, most people, about 50% of the people, if you send them an Instagram collaboration opportunity, they're actually going to come back and say, yeah, I'm interested. I mean, that's pretty good, right? I mean, if we got any salespeople in this call, right? I mean, the failure rate here is about 10% is going to just flat out tell you, no, I'm not interested. But at least 50% are going to say, I have an interest. And then it's you kind of selling it, right? What's the value? How does it help them? How do your audiences match? And why are you reaching out to them specifically over anybody else, right? And there's different types of payments that you can see. You could do fixed base payments. You could do an installment. You could do commission sales. I know I've got a number of companies that are reaching out to me now to do affiliate. So there's different ways to go about that financial compensation. And I think when you think about doing collabs with people, or if you're going to reach out to an influencer, I have a YouTube video that's linked in this presentation, and I will be sending that out so you guys can watch it. It goes about how to identify the right influencers. And we've been kind of dabbling in the influencer and collab space all year. And another company that we were working with earlier this year is Influencer DB. I believe they're based in Germany. They are also another software Instagram tool that identifies influencers. So check out that video, or check them out. If you're an enterprise level type of client, you're really trying to identify those very niche, super hard to work with influencers. There's all of these influencer marketplaces now. But when you think about doing a collab, don't always think about it as a short-term thing. A great example of that is the relationship that Global Social Media Marketing and Combine are creating. The way that we actually started was, we created a video on YouTube on 4Kstagram to turn our Instagram videos into YouTube videos. It's kind of unique that it started that they caught the video one day in Russia. Then they reached out to us and they said, this is amazing. We'd love for you to do a product demonstration video for us. And so that's what we did. And we turned that YouTube video into an Instagram collab. And then shortly thereafter, they said, wow, Benjamin, this was great. Your YouTube director, Kyle, was great to work with. I'd love to connect you with Anna. She runs a podcast and a webinar. We'd love to do a webinar with you. And here we are now doing our third collab, right? I mean, that's awesome. If you can go in with a collab opportunity, thinking about it as a long-term relationship, then you're really going to get the benefits of it. And influencers specifically may want to partner with people that are looking at it more long-term, right? They probably, the people that have hundreds of thousands of followers on Instagram, they probably get reached out to daily, right? That, everybody wants to collab with them because they want their audience, but not every influencer is going to do that. Whereas maybe you can be different. Maybe instead of sending an email or a DM that's a one-off thing, form it as more of a partnership. Hey, we can do this and we can do this. It really gets them excited. It makes them feel like you want to build a relationship. You're being more authentic, and you're really trying to be more informative and seeing how you can help them, right? So these are some of the questions I took some screenshots of. Maybe you're going about thinking of those things, right? These are all the things that were produced in the Influencer DB survey. They just released this about a month ago, where they've been running, Instagram analytics to their tool all year. So we know that because of their survey. So shout out to them, and check out that video if you guys have not heard of them. So what do you want to include in that pitch, right? I mean, it's, pitches are notorious in the PR world, right? Any PR people, public relations people, anyone that does PR releases, it's no different than that from a conceptual perspective. But I think the biggest difference is selling some of your Instagram quantitative stats, right? You want to have qualitative, where you're actually giving, like, again, maybe your engagement rate is a quantitative metric, but qualitative meaning like what's the quality of those engagements or the monthly views or the demographics, right? Like, does that audience make sense from a collab opportunity? Am I trying to reach that same audience? And you want to have something catchy, a short, catchy subject line. It doesn't need to be something, it could be something as simple as free collab. I've literally had 3 people email me this year with Benjamin, free collab? Question mark. And it's maybe not the most professional email, but it catches my attention, right? People like free things. I've also seen that work very well in advertising with Facebook and Instagram ads in 2020. Is that a great way to generate leads is to offer something for free, get their information, and then try to sell them on your, big ticket item or a smaller product, right? Build a relationship. Sales, anyone that's in sales knows relationships are built in time through great communication, and not everyone is going to buy your product or service the first time they meet you. Also, look to include to see if you've done any other types of collaboration opportunities. I think this is something that a lot of people miss the boat on of, okay, you want to do a collaboration with Global Social Media Marketing or Benjamin Kepner, who's the CEO. Show me an example of another collaboration that you've done. What other brands have you worked with? What success stories have you had with those? If you're coming in and you're asking to do a collab with me and you can't show me examples, that probably tells me you haven't produced enough collabs, or the collab opportunities that you did do, maybe they didn't have good outcomes. That should be something that adds credibility. It's no different if somebody comes to my company and they say, Benjamin, I want to work with you and grow my business with social media. I'm going to send them a case study. I'm going to send them a YouTube video. I'm going to send them a review, right? That just adds, here's my work. Go take a look at it. If you haven't worked with any brands, no worries. Show them your growth from month to month. Show them how many followers you grew in the last month. Show them how many posts you made in the last month. Show them how many people watched your stories, right? Show them some of those Instagram metrics and be genuine, right? Try to find something tidbit, right? If you went to my profiles, I just kind of showed you, right? And you're seeing maybe the Rolling Stones or yoga. Hey, Benjamin, I love the Stones. Start me up, right? Maybe that's a little tidbit there. You've used one of the Stones songs and you're connecting with me because I love that band. Tips for success here on the right. I don't need to go through all that, but keep it short, bullet points. Use Bitly if you can to track, if you're doing something via email or you're going to put out a post, and then think of different ways to strategize, right? Don't just always come back with the same collaboration idea. Mix it up. Here's some different types of direct message templates that you guys can use. So feel free, again, take a screenshot of this if you need. I've got one here for a generic collab that you could send via Instagram direct message to somebody, right? People check their DMs, right? There's this whole phrase going on, I guess, in 2020, right? Somebody's just slid into my DM, right? It's like, it used to be like somebody got into my inbox, you have mail, and now it's somebody slid into my DM. So if somebody slides in your DM with a collab operation opportunity, they're probably going to read it, right? I mean, it's not like most people are getting a lot of DMs unless they're really big influencers. So they're going to see that. It's a good one-to-one communication too. That's a huge trend in social media this year, right? We're really seeing one-to-one communications, direct messaging be huge. You can run messenger ad campaigns right through Facebook, and people, when they do DMs, I think sometimes if you're doing a public post, right, for a collab opportunity, it might come across a little spammy. You ever see those bots on Instagram where you put out a post and then, an hour or two later, you've got 4 people, you've never heard of them. They don't have any profile information. They're, DM, collab with us, send us a DM, whatever. And it's like, those people sometimes might just be automated bots. So, what I would say is, how many people are sending in your DMs today collab opportunities? It's probably not a lot. Those are probably a little bit more authentic, and it's a good way to create one-to-one. And then also, you don't have to go into this whole conversation on a post, right? Take it to one-to-one. That's what you want to do with any collab opportunities. You want to get it to a point where you're either exchanging the collab opportunity through direct messages or through email. I also have an idea here if you want to do a giveaway idea, right? So these are great templates. You can feel free to use these. Another thing, as I mentioned, I really think that PR ties a lot into collaboration opportunities or press releases. Is you could literally just go to Google and type in press release plus a company's name. Go do that for any company that you're like, hey, I really think that this is a good company. I don't know where to start. I see that they have an Instagram. I don't know who to contact. If they're a bigger company, they got a PR manager. That PR manager always puts their email on their press release. And probably if they're a PR manager, they're going to put out a PR release every quarter. So that's probably the person who's managed the Instagram account. Now, maybe somebody like Anna, for example, who's a marketing manager, she might also be a great candidate, maybe a social media marketing manager, but use that as a kind of a growth hack. And this is also another kind of like, email. The other thing I wanted to make a point here with on this slide is don't just send a direct message on Instagram. While that's a great idea, really, I would say in most business applications, right, email is still in which we send contracts, in which we make sales, in which we set up phone calls, in which I submitted this webinar to Anna today, right? We all use email as that method of communication. So don't think that, Instagram DMs is where you should stop. You really should probably follow them, like some of their posts, send them a direct message, and then send a more extended version via email. So now you've got multiple touch points and they have that contact information. There's really nothing wrong with doing something like that, right? So another email template, as I kind of mentioned in this presentation, is doing something like brand ambassadors. So I took a screenshot today of an example of somebody that had reached out to us in the fitness industry. You can see the screenshot there. And what they've been doing all this year, I thought was very interesting. It's kind of hard to see maybe some of their stories down here, but one of these stories is an ambassador story. And this is that screenshot right there. And this is the email. This is the exact email that these people sent me. They said they found me on Instagram. They're looking for a great fit. They actually linked right to their Instagram so I could see it. They told me about what their goal is as a brand. Maybe I can get behind that if my values, match with that brand. They're giving me some numbers, right? They're giving me percentages, things off. And then, they're saying that they're going to give me access. And then they just kind of give me a nice note at the end. They'd like to move forward. Please send an email, right? And this is actually done via email. And they also sent me a DM. So that's another good example of somebody that's really trying to collaborate with me. And I could go check out their profile and I can see they have a whole story of just showing their ambassadors. They're tagging the ambassador. They're showing them in front of the products. And they're targeting that are fitness-based people. Maybe they were looking at my snowboarding picture and they were saying, oh, Benjamin's into fitness. He likes to shred the Colorado Rockies. He's a great fit. Let's reach out to him. Maybe he's a good collaboration opportunity for fitness people based in Colorado. So I thought that was a cool. And then I thought this is also another really good email that I've seen come in. I actually kind of scoped it out. Like if I was going out to Anna and saying, I'd like to do an Instagram collab, I'm kind of mentioning, hey, I've been using your tool, Anna. I love how your team of experts is driving real results with the tool. I know that I have an audience that might be relative, right? We at Global, we work with a lot of small business owners, medium-sized businesses. We work with a lot of entrepreneurs. I know a lot of people in Combine who I've kind of talked about with it, are a little entrepreneurial. And then I go and I give them something to look at, right? I give them our website. I say, here's my website, right? That's another thing you can do. I mean, think about when you do a collab, obviously they're going to look at your Instagram. But what if they can go look at some of your other channels, right? Like at Global, Combine, right? We both have really good YouTube channels, I would say. We both have websites that you can check out. Combine's been doing some press releases. Maybe I might mention that, right? I might say, hey, we at Combine send out a press release every 3 months and it reaches X amount of people, right? So I actually did that. I said, at Global, we get over 5,000 page views a month to our website. We have a global reach. My Instagram handle is this. I have a certain engagement rate. I'm getting hundreds of views per image. And then it's just kind of like a little short and sweet, like I'd love to do a collab with you, right? And I didn't really go specifically into the collab of what this is, but the thing that this email does is it quickly grabs their attention, right? It's me giving love to Combine, saying, I love your tool. I have an audience here. Here's some metrics on that audience. Would you be open to a collab? What are you looking to do? I would say most times than not, you should try to include the collab idea. It gives better creative direction. So you're not putting the stress or the worry on the person you're trying to do the collab with for them to figure it out. Try to come in with an idea and maybe they'll come back and they'll feed off of that energy or that creativity, right? Ideas, I think, expand when you have something and you can go back and forth. And that's what true collaboration is, right? Is using multiple ideas in a way that produces hopefully a better idea, because you have multiple ideas that can to make one great idea. So this is another example, kind of using some metrics. And then, let's say you want to work with the big brands out there, right? Like, I would love for Global to work with, for example, Airbnb. I think they're an awesome travel company. I really love their YouTube videos, very cinematographic, really cool, mission statement. I'd love for them to be like, Benjamin, I'd love to do a collab with you, right? So first thing I would be thinking about if I'm new on Instagram, I got to get over 1,000 followers. I know 1,000 followers might seem like a lot if you just got started. It's really not. You could probably get to 1,000 followers realistically in 3 months. You can use tools like Combine, right? If you're not using Combine, look into that. That's a great first thing. You need to start making content. Get content out. If you can't do it every day, do it every other day. If you can't do it every other day, start with 2 posts per week, right? You got to start somewhere. You got to try to get into top posts. You got to collaborate with your friends. Maybe to start working with brands, you start doing some collabs with your friends. Be funny about it. Hey, I did a collab with my neighbor on, how to clean your bathroom with Clorox, and you're reaching out to Clorox, right? You can be fun with it. Get some proof, get some content, get some engagement, get going with it. Start now. And then once you have a feed and you can kind of see some stuff going on, then you can start to move into my story that I told you guys about with that sushi, right? I mean, just earlier this year, I was really doing my first paid Instagram collab, and I had, over 9,000 followers. So you don't have to have 9,000 followers to do a collab. You really could have less than 1,000, but I'm just saying thousands a good benchmark. It adds proof. You can build up from that, and then it's kind of like a snowball effect, right? And then looking at, what types of products are out there. Make your collaborations very simple early on if you are just getting started. And like I mentioned, long term, right? Brands are going to love it if you come in and say, hey, I want to do more than just a one-off. Because again, that vibe of, hey, it's almost like dating, right? If you have a really good date with somebody, you're not going to just have one date. Hopefully you're going to have another date. So same thing with a collab is, think about it as a long-term opportunity. Think about how you can provide value and how you can both help each other grow each other's audiences. And also, it's a growth hack, right? It's literally an opportunity for you to get content from another brand so that you don't have to create all the content yourself. From there, what are the factors we talked about? The financial decisions. Does the audience mass, right? Cost is always a big thing. But just I think, looking at the aesthetics and the pictures, and then thinking about your time investment, right? Like, the Forge restaurant, right? It took me an hour of my time to go in and see that restaurant owner, hear about his restaurant, hear why his sushi restaurant was the best, and I needed to bring all my friends there, and I had a free drink, and then I got a very exclusive sushi meal I'll never forget. And it took an hour of my time. That was a very easy collaboration. I put up the pictures, I put up the post. That took me 15 minutes. Something maybe more like with Combine, for example, is going to be more intensive, right? If I'm doing a webinar Instagram collab, I'm going to have to create the presentation. I might have to learn some nuances of the technology. I might need to promote the opportunity prior to the webinar, right? Repurpose it. There's a lot more involved with that. So I think that's another thing to keep in mind. Is people do like easy things. So don't try to go for the moon in the beginning. Maybe start with the first one really simple in a video or picture that's not going to take you less than an hour to do, and then move into the webinars or the product demonstration videos or those kind of more robust types of things. So how could we use Combine, right? We'll give a shout out to them for hosting us on this webinar, right? So you can use Combine to attract new Instagram followers, right? So if you're using Combine or Combin, excuse me, to get new followers, then you need to leverage those new followers as collab opportunities. Every follower that follows you should maybe at least try to just check out their profile. You never know who might follow you. I've had, people with millions of followers follow me, and I'm like, why are these people following me? But you never know who could follow you. And you can use Combin, right, to manage multiple accounts, do targeting, right? They really have a lot of those features in their tool that will help you with understanding in your collabs those different audiences and how you can grow them. And then obviously they also have the mass engagements. And I mentioned the public thing. Sometimes maybe it can be spammy, but maybe if you're using Combin in the right way, hey, I loved your post. I'd love to see maybe if we could do a collab with you, Benjamin, on a cool snowboard. I think it comes back to authenticity and being genuine, not sounding like a robot, looking at the profile a little bit, very briefly, and then adding some variations, or knowing that, okay, I've got an audience of snowboarders, so I'm gonna have a very similar kind of authentic message there. And you can actually see the example of a combined collab that we did with them. Just about a month ago, our YouTube director put out a video. I put it up on our Instagram channel. This is actually the exact post. It was an Instagram TV. So, for anyone that wants to have a longer form video, it was a product demonstration video of how to use Combin. I had a call to action. I gave a discount right at the promo. The link was in our bio, right? So this was a prime example of how you could go about using Combin and actually, trying to get collabs. And there's tons of different collabs ideas, right? I could spend all day probably looking at all the different ideas, but these are some of the most common, right? Joint webinars and virtual summits, super popular this year. Contests and giveaways. We mentioned takeovers, right? If you want to take over somebody's account for the day, and then a lot more kind of live Q&A interviews. And finally, shout outs and sponsorships, right? Sponsorships could be great for nonprofits or could be really good for product-based types of companies. And, giving shout outs to things that you've used, right? Reviews, things like that. How can you find collab opportunities outside of, searching, maybe using Combin, maybe your Influencer DB? I've given you a lot of different tools. You can also use a company called influence.co. They will allow you to create a profile. It's another influencer marketplace. These things are spreading like crazy these days. Like there are so many influencer marketplaces these days that have developed. It's crazy how many there are. And I do mention actually here on the next slide that there are a number of different apps. So, go look into some of these. I didn't want to, over inundate everyone. You may probably have never heard of half of these. But influencer marketing and collabs, they kind of go hand in hand for me conceptually, because you want to do collabs, but you want to do with collabs that have similar audiences or people that can help you grow, right? You want to start small, but then grow it in time. And influencers do, it's proven time and time again that influencer marketing on Instagram for collab opportunities is a really good approach. And sometimes you don't have to spend money, right? If you meet the right influencers, it's really authentic. Like think about when somebody reviews, like if you, let's say, for example, had an insurance agent and somebody said, they're doing my insurance for my company, and they're getting that referral, right? The referrals are great, guys. Like having somebody else be a brand ambassador for you is so powerful, because you're not selling it. Hopefully you're not telling them what to say. They're just doing it because they truly are passionate about the product or service, and they are actually genuinely say what they think about that. So these are some different ones. I've listed them out. There's a whole list that you'll have in the presentation. I know we're coming up on time, so I'm going to go quickly through these last few slides. How do you structure an Instagram collaboration deal? Well, here's all the things. What are the results? What's the compensation? How are you going to promote it? How long is the campaign, right? So you need to have that in writing, right? I think that's why I want to move things eventually to email, because I want to have those things so it's super understood. Anna did the same thing with me for today's collab. It started through social media, but then it went into email, and we had it all outlined, and we're super prepared for this, and it's well done, I think. Here's some examples of other collabs that we've done this year. We did a webinar with Poster My Wall. They're another social media tool. They do a lot of cool animational stock photo images, things like that. If you haven't checked them out, they have millions of customers. Super cool that we did that. There's kind of a sign that we were doing for businesses that were reopening. We've also partnered with the Colorado Chamber of Commerce at the Global Social Media Marketing. They're like the local chamber where we've kind of partnered with them, and we're helping them with social media. And we did like a kind of like a collab post announcing our partnership, right? And you can see some of the benefits that we're garnering now that we've partnered with them. Where it was an exchange of services again, right? Like they're giving us an exchange of some of their services to their membership, in exchange for us managing their social media, right? So that's, again, another example of, hey, there is a financial compensation, thing where a normal member would be paying maybe $10,000 to $15,000 to become a silver partner. But in our case, we had a good exchange. It was valuable. We're both growing each other's audiences. And so it worked out really well as a good collaboration opportunity long term, where we're going to be doing more than just one Instagram collab post. Another one we did was with Network After Work. We've been doing tons of presentations for them. It was kind of like a virtual summit. So, if you're burnout with webinars, do a summit, get multiple speakers, right? Or break it into days, do a mini course, do a series. There's so many different ways you can think about it. We did a Facebook one with them, and we gave a value offer of a free Facebook marketing course. You can see our post here. And then finally, our last examples here are podcasting and artists, right? Podcasting is also another thing that's been exploding in marketing this year. Most podcast people are super happy to have a guest. I mean, some are going to be more specific and harder to get onto, but if it's a new podcaster, start doing that, man. Start reaching out to podcast people saying, hey, I'd love to be on your show. Turn it into a post, right? This is a really, I think, nice looking image, and it's got us both branded on there. If you're a musician, my heart goes out to all the musicians there. I know it's been hard for live shows, a lot of live streaming and stuff like that. Do some takeovers, man. If you're a musician or an artist, what are the tools that you use to make your craft? If you're a painter, you use a brush. If you're a violinist, you have a violin and you buy strings. So this is an example with Tea House Music Company in California. They have pretty much been not allowed to play music. So their idea with me was, all right, let's go after a strings company and take over the string. And all those people that play the violin, well, now they know who Chris Murphy is, and now maybe they want to have a virtual lesson with him, right? So these are really good examples, I think. And so to kind of close the presentation, right, what's the value of, if you've hung around, you've heard Benjamin blabber about collabs, and you're like, man, I think this is all great, but I don't know if I'll be able to get one. Well, I am giving away a free collab with GSMM, my company, and myself. So if you do these things, if you follow Global Social Media Marketing on Instagram, I've got it linked. It's just Global Social Media Marketing, and you comment on a post and send us a DM or an email, I will do a free collab with you. You tell me what the idea is. You tell me, who you're trying to reach, what's the time, what's the financial compensation that in this case is free, right? So it's not going to cost you anything to do that. And it's a good way. Maybe if you're coming from South America or Europe today, you want to expand in the US. If you're based in Denver, Colorado, maybe you're looking to be with, a company that's kind of growing in Colorado right now. There's tons of different things. I'd also say personally, I'm open to all different ideas. If you're a restaurant, or if you've got a product, or if you're a service, I want to help people. That's why I was really happy that Anna reached out to me about this. I think this is a cool opportunity for me to provide a combine, have a really good presentation, and help a lot of people, but also provide free collabs, right? I think collaborations, Anna and I were talking about, that are really win-win situations that help people grow together. And that's what we're here to do, I think, in this webinar is to help people grow and build new relationships. So feel free to reach out to me. Give me your first name, your handle, your idea. You've got my email, and Anna will send this out. And, that's everything I got for you guys on how to do Instagram collaborations. So I'll leave it to Anna here for the Q&A.
Thank you, Benjamin. That was awesome. As a social media marketer, I read a lot and watched a lot of videos about Instagram marketing, but still, I learned a lot today. I just sat there and heard all of the presentation. It was really interesting, and I think that our audience also loved that. Yeah, I see there a lot of thank you to you. So now let me just check the Q&A section. And let's answer 5 first questions from there. So the first question is actually about the amount of followers that you need in order to have any chances for successful collaboration. So the question is, I have only 1,000 followers, but they are genuine. So are there any chances that business would like to work with me? So what do you think, Benjamin?
Yeah, I would definitely say, like I mentioned, I think, if you've got over 1,000 followers, start with small brands first. Don't go for the big guys. Start with somebody else that's a company, that has a similar following as you, right? There's plenty of actually really good companies today that do, over 100 million in revenue that don't even have 1,000 followers on Instagram because it's still kind of a new social media channel for some people, right? So that would be my best advice is just because you have 1,000, don't limit yourself, but focus on other brands maybe that have a close following to you to start.
Yeah, okay, thank you. And the question actually about influencer marketing. So, is influencer marketing and Instagram collaboration the same?
No, so influencer marketing is just the idea that you are leveraging influencers, and collaborations is more of a win-win exchange of either financial compensation or services. The reason why I think they both go very well together is it's kind of like if you do a collab with an influencer, then you're providing value to that influencer and you're also reaching into a much larger audience than you may have with a brand. And also it's using that word of mouth where you're having an actual human promote whatever that collab is versus a brand where sometimes that can come across as very kind of corporate or salesy sometimes.
And I also saw that question about nano influencers. So, is it true that nano influencers are now the best option to work with?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm not going to say that you're incorrect in that assumption. I would say, the easy answer to that question is, does that nano influencers audience match the audience that you presently have on Instagram, or is it an audience that you're looking to expand into? I would focus more on the type, again, that qualitative thing that I mentioned, instead of thinking about sometimes the nano. Now, if you do have a nano, the flip side of that is, right, it's going to be so small, you're not going to reach enough people. So that's why, again, I gave you kind of that benchmark of 1,000. I would be trying to do personally for our company, right? I'm probably not going to do many collabs with people under 1,000. So if you're going to do a nano with an audience that's relative, but try to get to that 1,000 mark when possible.
Okay, thank you. I see a very interesting question from John. Would you recommend to get into dirty marketing? I mean, pretend that you are arguing with somebody on Instagram and tag them in stories. They tag you back in stories or in posts. And he says that people like watching arguments going. So, what do you think about it? Is it a good idea to get into this kind of marketing?
Well, that's a very interesting thing. I've never heard it called dirty marketing. That's a first for me. So, I have not heard of that strategy before, but here's a funny thing I would say. I know over in Europe, you guys are probably watching a little bit of the news about the United States. We're having the presidential election here, and I would say that the presidents that are going to be elected, they're constantly arguing, and they're getting a lot of viewership right now. And I don't know if that's for good or bad. So I would say the short answer to that, just psychologically for me in marketing, is that people do resonate with conflict, right? If you look at any great story of a hero, he always had some conflict, right? Like Superman was trying to, save the world, and his weakness was kryptonite, right? That was the conflict. Or Batman trying to save Gotham City, and he had to face the Joker, right? That's conflict. So I would say that question is really more of a storytelling question than it is. It's very specific, like, hey, you should be doing dirty marketing on Instagram. I think that's a great approach for any type of storytelling. Now, I'm not advising in that question either to go do dirty marketing. I think that question, the way I would answer it better is, why don't you go look at having an interview or a debate and framing it that way so that it doesn't come across as an argument, because you might have that turn off some people too, right? People don't normally aren't going to be so happy or engaging in the right way with your content if it's really negative. So maybe form it more of an interview debate type of style.
Yeah, thank you. And one last question is about, so should you do Instagram collaboration with local based people or overseas too? And I also saw two girls today in the chat. They were like chatting with each other and they wanted to collaborate, but they were from different countries. So what do you think? Is it a good idea to collaborate with people overseas, or you only recommend to work or at least start working with local based businesses?
Yeah, I would always say start local if you can, right? You should know at a higher level, what does your business do and who are you trying to reach? If you're a truly global company like global social media marketing or Combin, right? Maybe you're not limiting yourself at that local level. I think it just goes back to who's the audience that you want. But if you're asking me, I don't know where I should start local. It'll be easier. It'll be easier to get collabs. And then on the flip side of it, I know things are different now where we're not meeting people as in person as much, but you can also connect with them maybe personally. Like if somebody reached out to me in Denver, I might, mention a Denver landmark or something culturally relevant to Denver, Colorado. So that's just another great way to create that connection that much quicker.
Thank you. Thank you so much once again for coming here today, for joining me, for being my co-host. Thank you for presenting this awesome presentation, and thank you for answering these questions from our audience. I hope you guys also like the presentation, so please let us know in the chat. So how was it? Did you like that? Are you going to collaborate with Benjamin in the future?
Yeah, I'd love to see some collabs. I'm kind of scrolling through the comments.
Yeah, there were a lot of comments today, and the conversation was really live.
Yeah, that's awesome. There's so many people. I hope everybody enjoyed the presentation today and they feel like they got value out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure. So thank you once again, Benjamin, and thank you guys for coming here, for registering for this webinar. I wish you good luck on Instagram. I wish you happy Instagram promotion, and I